Eli stepped off the transport ship and looked around the alien space station called Tarsus 9. It was loud, glowing, and full of strange creatures he had never seen before. His backpack was heavy, his credits were low, and he had no place to sleep. He was a human, and humans were not very welcome here. The first hotel told him,
"No rooms for your kind." The second one laughed and shut the door. By the time Eli reached the third place,
even the vending machine refused to take his coins. He sat on a metal bench and sighed, looking at the endless night outside the station's glass dome. Just then a voice called out from the shadows, "You're looking for a room, aren't you?" "Human?" Eli turned and saw a tall alien woman. She had silver skin, glowing green eyes, and hair like dark smoke floating behind her. Her dress was made of shifting fabrics that seemed alive. She didn't look friendly, but she didn't look like she wanted to eat him either. "My name is Varani," she said. "I have one room to rent, but there are rules." Eli stood up quickly. "Anything. I'll follow any rule." Varani raised one eyebrow. "No loud noises, no human rituals, and absolutely no strange body behaviors." Eli didn't know what strange body behaviors meant, but he nodded. "I promise," he said. "I just need a place to sleep." She turned and walked without waiting. Eli followed her through narrow walkways, past glowing doors and whispering walls. He felt like the station was watching him. Like the walls had eyes, it was colder the deeper they went. And he wondered if this was a trap. Finally, they reached her door. It was shaped like a circle and opened with a quiet hiss. Inside, the apartment was strange. The floor was soft like jelly. The ceiling was alive with tiny lights, and a plant was growing out of the sink. "Welcome," Varani said without smiling. "You can stay here as long as you obey." Eli put down his bag, nodded, and looked around. "This is different," he said. "You humans always say that." Varani muttered and floated away toward her room. Her door shut with a pulse of light, and Eli was alone. He sat on the strange floor and tried to breathe slowly. At least he wasn't on the street. He unpacked his small things, a toothbrush, some clothes, and a photo of Earth. Then he lay on the bed, which felt more like a sleeping jellyfish than a mattress. As he started to fall asleep, he felt something move under him. He jumped up, but nothing was there. Just the soft glow of the room and a quiet hum from the walls. He took off his clothes to change into sleepwear. That's when the door slammed open. "What is that?" Varani shouted, pointing at him with wide eyes. Eli froze, standing in only his underwear. "What? What's wrong?" he asked, confused and panicked. "That thing between your legs," she shouted again, stepping back. "Why do you have a mini shai-hulud?" Eli blinked. "A what now?" Varani looked terrified. "You brought a sacred worm into my home? Are you insane?" Eli looked down at himself, realized what she meant, and turned red. No, that's not a worm. That's just a human part, okay? It's normal." "Normal?" Varani gasped. "Do all humans carry such creatures?" "Yes," Eli shouted, holding up his hands. "It's part of our body. It's not alive." Varani didn't believe him. She stepped back and touched her bracelet. Within seconds, the wall opened and 2 more aliens entered, both taller and covered in armor. "This human is hiding a mini shai-hulud," she told them. "We must examine him." "Wait, no!" "I swear it's not what you think." Eli backed into the corner, half-dressed and embarrassed beyond words. The 2 aliens approached slowly, scanning him with glowing blue devices. Eli could hear the machines humming, and one of the aliens said in a deep voice, "His body carries strange energy, unlike anything we've seen." Varani narrowed her glowing eyes. "He's more than just a tenant." Eli's heart pounded. "I just wanted a room," he said. "I didn't come here to start anything." One of the aliens looked at Varani and whispered, "If he has a mini shai-hulud, he may also have the echo seed." Varani's face turned pale. "That cannot be," she said, her voice shaking. "That seed was lost 1,000 years ago." Eli didn't know what they were talking about. He didn't even understand half the words, but he knew one thing. His new room wasn't just strange. It was dangerous, and he might be the biggest mystery in it. Eli stood frozen, half naked, while 3 aliens stared at him like he was a ticking bomb. Varani, the silver-skinned landlady, was still pointing at his lower body, eyes wide with fear and curiosity. "I asked you, human," she repeated, her voice sharp and shaking. "What is that creature between your legs?" Eli wrapped a towel around himself and backed into the wall. "It's not a creature," he said, trying to stay calm. "It's just part of me. All male humans have it. Varani turned to the two armored aliens she had summoned. One of them was tall and glowing, with smooth purple skin and metal bones. The other had no mouth, just a breathing mask and red blinking eyes. They whispered in a language Eli couldn't understand. Full of clicks and hums, the one with the mask finally spoke. "It matches the description from the Forbidden Scrolls," Varani gasped. "You mean the mini Shai-Hulud is real?" Eli blinked, confused and cold. "Okay, can someone please tell me what a Shai-Hulud is?" Varani stepped closer, but kept a safe distance. "On my home planet, the Shai-Hulud is a giant sand god," she said slowly. "It sleeps beneath the dunes, and when it wakes, it eats entire cities." "Sounds like a bad pet," Eli muttered under his breath. "The mini version," she continued, ignoring him, "is said to be small, hidden, and full of power. It was believed to carry ancient energy, something called the Echo Seed." The masked alien added, "That seed can awaken the old machines, bring dead worlds back to life, and open lost gates." Eli laughed nervously. "Guys, I think you're confusing me with someone else. I'm just a human from Earth, no seeds, no gods, no secrets." But the scanner in the alien's hand started blinking faster. It made a high-pitched sound. Then a green light appeared on the screen. The armored alien leaned forward, eyes glowing. "His body holds dormant energy, very old, very dangerous." Varani looked troubled. "If the council finds out, they will take him. They'll never let him leave." Eli shook his head. "This is crazy. I just needed a room. Now I'm some kind of chosen one." The masked alien stepped forward. "We must examine the human fully before the energy wakes." "No way," Eli shouted. "No more scanning, poking, or talking about what's between my legs. I'm not a science project," but the lights in the room dimmed suddenly. The jelly-like floor started to pulse, as if the station itself had heard them. Then, a message appeared on the wall in glowing golden letters. "The Echo Seed has been detected. Awakening begins in 72 hours. Eli read the words out loud, voice shaking. "What the hell does that mean?" Varani stared at the wall, then at him. "It means you're not just a tenant anymore. You're now a danger to everyone on Tarsus 9. Eli sat on the bed, feeling like the floor might swallow him. "I didn't ask for any of this," he whispered. "I just wanted sleep, a place to stay, a quiet job." The armored alien turned to leave. "We will inform the others. They must prepare." "No," Varani shouted suddenly, surprising both of them. "Don't tell the council, not yet. If they take him now, they'll destroy him before they understand." The masked alien paused. "You want to protect the human?" Varani hesitated, then said, "He's my tenant, my responsibility, and if he is the seed bearer, we must be careful." The two aliens exchanged a silent glance, then walked out of the room. The door hissing shut behind them, silence returned, broken only by the hum of machines in the walls. Eli looked up at her, still wrapped in a towel. "Thanks." "I think." Varani sat on the edge of a floating chair, hands clasped together. "You need to be hidden, watched and protected, but also studied." "I don't like the last part," Eli muttered. "I already feel like I'm on display at a weird alien zoo." "I will ask no more about your anatomy," she said, eyes serious now. "But you must tell me everything you remember, dreams, visions, anything strange." Eli thought back. He had been having dreams, but he didn't think they meant anything. He saw endless deserts, giant shadows moving under sand. A voice calling to him in whispers, the word return kept repeating. He told her this slowly, trying not to sound crazy. Varani listened with her eyes narrowed, her fingers glowing softly. "You are remembering the echo path," she said. "Something inside you is waking up. And if we don't act soon, it may not stop." Eli stood up, feeling strange warmth in his chest, like his body was no longer just his own. "So what now?" he asked. "Do I just wait until I explode?" Varani stood too, her dress shifting like water. "No, we leave now before the council sends hunters." Eli looked at his backpack and nodded. "I knew this rent was too cheap," he whispered. As they walked out into the glowing tunnels of Tarsus 9, Eli didn't notice the thin line of golden light trailing behind him. The seed had already started to bloom. Eli followed Varani through the dim tunnels of Tarsus 9. The air smelled like metal and ozone, and the walls glowed with weak blue veins of light. He didn't know where she was taking him, only that she was walking fast, almost floating, her long coat sweeping behind like smoke. Every time her hand brushed the wall, it lit up with silver symbols that faded once they passed. He wanted to ask questions, but his throat was dry. Finally he said, "Varani, what is this echo seed everyone keeps talking about?" She didn't slow down. The Echo Seed is older than this galaxy, she said quietly. It was made by the first makers, the ones who shaped planets and gave life to the worm gods. Eli frowned. And you think it's inside me? Varani stopped suddenly and turned, her eyes glowing faint green. Not think human, I know. The readings don't lie. Eli shook his head. That's impossible. I'm just a human engineer, I fix small ships. I don't carry ancient alien magic inside me. But Varani wasn't listening anymore. She placed her hand on the door in front of them. Whispering in her own language, the metal rippled like liquid, opening to reveal a huge underground chamber filled with floating crystals and machines older than time. Eli gasped, "What is this place?" "This," Varani said, stepping inside, "is the archive of the first worms. No outsider has ever seen it before." The air shimmered with blue dust, and the sound of distant heartbeats echoed around them. Strange shapes moved within the walls. As if the building itself was alive, Eli felt dizzy, like something was calling his name, whispering through his mind. He pressed his hands against his ears. "Do you hear that voice?" Varani nodded slowly. "Yes, that is the voice of the seed. It speaks to those who carry it." Eli's chest began to glow faintly. A golden light pulsing under his skin, Varani stepped back, shocked. "It's waking faster than I thought." The voice in Eli's mind grew stronger, deep and calm. "Bearer of the Echo, why have you come here?" Eli fell to his knees, his eyes wide. "I didn't come here. I didn't even know about you." Varani rushed to him, trying to steady him. "Don't answer it directly," she warned. "It listens, it learns. It remembers every word you say." But the light inside Eli spread, glowing brighter, wrapping his body in a golden aura. The floating crystals began to spin around him, forming a ring. The machines in the chamber awoke with low rumbling sounds. Something ancient had recognized him. Varani shielded her face as the air exploded with energy. When the light faded, she saw a strange mark glowing on Eli's chest. Shaped like a spiral sun, her voice trembled. "That symbol hasn't appeared for thousands of years. It means you are the chosen Echo, the one who can control the great worms." Eli looked down at the glowing mark, breathing hard. "This is insane," he said. "I didn't choose this," Varani's tone softened. "No one chooses the seed, it chooses by itself." Eli looked around, the room spinning slowly. "What does it want from me?" Before Varani could answer, the chamber's main crystal cracked, releasing a projection of light that formed a giant figure. It looked like a man made of sand and stars. His voice shook the ground when he spoke. "You are late, human bearer. The cycle ends soon. The worms must rise again." Eli took a step back. No, this is a dream. I'm not supposed to be here," the figure continued. "You carry the forbidden Echo, the last seed of the makers. If it dies with you, the balance will be broken forever." Varani's face turned pale. "Forbidden Echo? That's worse than I thought." The projection turned its glowing eyes toward her. "Keeper Varani of House Vol, your duty is to protect the bearer until the awakening is complete." Varani froze. "How do you know my name?" "You were written in the code before you were born," the voice said. "You and the human are bound now." The figure faded, leaving behind silence broken only by Eli's uneven breathing. He sat down on the cold floor, shaking his head. "I didn't ask for this, Varani. I just wanted a room." "I know," she said softly. "But the universe doesn't ask for permission. It only gives purpose." Eli looked up at her, his voice trembling. "What happens now?" Varani hesitated. "Now the council will sense the awakening. They'll send their seekers. They'll want to control you or destroy you." "So we run?" he asked. "Yes," she said, "but not away, downward. Into the old tunnels below Tarsus 9, where the first worms once slept." Eli laughed weakly. "Great. From sleeping on a soft floor to sleeping under giant worms. I really need better luck." Varani gave him a rare, small smile. "Luck doesn't matter now. Destiny does." They left the glowing chamber and entered a deeper path. As they walked, the mark on Eli's chest pulsed like a heartbeat. Lighting the dark tunnel, the walls began to whisper in the same strange voice, calling him by an ancient name he did not understand. Varani looked at him and whispered, "The worms are already waking." Eli looked at her, fear in his eyes. "Then what happens when they do?" Varani's voice was quiet, almost a whisper. "If you are truly the forbidden Echo," she said, "then you are the only one who can stop them, or command them." Eli looked back toward the glowing tunnels, the sound of rumbling in the distance growing louder. He didn't know what he was becoming, but one thing was certain. He was no longer just a tenant on an alien station. He was part of something older, deeper, and far more dangerous, and the countdown to awakening had already begun. The tunnels below Tarsus 9 were darker, older, and full of forgotten machines. The floor was warm and pulsing like a sleeping creature. Eli followed close behind Varani, his fingers brushing the cold wall. The golden mark on his chest glowed softly under his shirt, lighting the path like a quiet fire. They didn't speak much. The silence was thick, and the air felt heavy. Only the soft hum of the old metal and the whispering voices of the echo seed broke the quiet. Varani stopped and placed her hand on a round door. It scanned her palm and hissed open, revealing a secret chamber with a high ceiling and curved walls. Ancient weapons, dusty scrolls, and cracked masks lined the shelves. This place was a training ground, she whispered, for keepers like me, before everything was lost. Eli stepped inside slowly. He felt a strange pressure in his head, as if something behind the walls was watching him. What were they training for? He asked. Varani looked at him with calm, glowing eyes. For the return of the Echo Bearer, she said. For you? Before Eli could answer, a loud alarm echoed through the tunnels. A red light flashed outside the chamber. Varani's face hardened. They found us, Eli tensed. Who? She grabbed a long staff from the wall, its edges glowing blue. The council, she said. They've sent the Seekers suddenly. The walls shook and the air turned cold. A voice boomed through the station's ancient speaker system. Echo Bearer Eli of Earth, surrender yourself. The council offers protection in exchange for obedience. Eli's heart pounded. They make it sound so polite. Varani touched her temple. Activating a hidden panel in the floor, a narrow staircase slid open, leading deeper underground. Move, she ordered. We don't have time. They rushed down the steps, the door sealing behind them. Above, heavy footsteps echoed through the halls, metal boots. Slow and deadly, Eli struggled to keep up. Why do they want me so badly? The Echo Seed gives you power, she said quickly. And power frightens the ones who sit on golden chairs. As they moved through the lower tunnels, the walls began to glow, reacting to Eli's presence. Symbols lit up beside him. Spirals, stars, and worm-shaped patterns. The tunnel itself seemed to follow him. Turning with his steps, Varani slowed, watching carefully. You're not just carrying the seed, she said. It's merging with you. Eli stopped, breathing hard, his fingers tingled, and his chest felt like it held a tiny sun. What does that mean? It means, she said softly, soon you won't just be the Echo Bearer. You'll become the Echo. Suddenly, the tunnel ahead exploded in white light. From the dust stepped 3 council seekers, tall, thin, and wrapped in dark cloaks that shifted like oil. Their faces were hidden behind masks shaped like crying stars. Do not run, one of them said in a calm, cold voice. We are not here to harm you. Varani raised her staff. Lies, she said. You came with weapons. Not words. Another seeker stepped forward, holding a strange sphere. It floated in the air and projected a glowing face. It was a council elder. His eyes sharp and full of secrets, Eli, the elder said gently. We have watched you since the seed awoke. Come with us. And we will protect you from what's coming. Eli looked at Varani, then back at the image. From what exactly? He asked. The elder's face flickered. From yourself, the seed changes those who carry it. If it wakes too fast, it can destroy your body, your mind, even your soul. Eli felt a chill crawl down his spine. What do you want from me? To guide you, the elder said. To keep the galaxy safe. To train you under council control. Varani stepped in front of Eli, her voice firm. He won't be your weapon. The elder's smile faded. Then he is a threat, he said, and all threats must be neutralized. The seekers drew long, thin blades that hummed with energy. Eli's chest suddenly burned with golden light, the mark shining like a rising star. The light grew stronger, spilling down his arms, into his hands, into the floor. The walls around them shook, and a deep voice echoed through the stone. Do not touch the bearer. A massive golden worm carved into the wall began to move. Its eyes glowed and its mouth opened slowly, showing a tunnel behind it. Varani pulled Eli's hand. Run, now. As they dashed into the open mouth of the stone worm, the walls behind them closed shut. The seekers shouted, slamming their blades into the stone, but it was too late. They were gone, deep into the forgotten paths below the city. Eli collapsed in the tunnel, gasping, What just happened? Varani kneeled beside him, her voice trembling. The worm guardians have accepted you. No one else could have made that stone creature move. Eli wiped sweat from his forehead. So now the council wants to kill me. The station is after me. And I'm glowing like a space lantern. Yes, she said. And now there's only one place left to go. He looked up, his voice tired. Where? She stood and looked into the dark ahead. To the temple of the first worm, she said. It's buried in the desert world of Sandreek. And only there can we unlock your full power. Eli stood slowly, the light in his chest fading but still warm. Let me guess, he said. More running, more danger. More worms, Varani smirked. You're learning fast. As they walked into the ancient darkness, neither of them saw the small eye open in the ceiling behind them. The seed was watching, and it was no longer silent. The tunnel air was thick and dry. Each step Eli took felt heavier than the last. The light from the mark on his chest pulsed brighter now. Golden and alive, Varani walked beside him, silent but alert, her staff glowing blue. They had left the council seekers far behind. But something else had started moving below them. Something huge. Eli paused, wiping sweat from his brow. Do you feel that? He whispered. Varani nodded. The ground breathes, she said. The old one is near. Ahead of them stood a stone gate carved with alien symbols and worm-like patterns. It was half buried in sand, yet somehow humming with energy. The sand itself moved slowly, like waves under moonlight. This is the mouth of the first worm, Varani said, her voice low. The resting place of the Shehulud. Eli stepped forward, but the air pushed back against him. It felt like standing in front of a storm, one that had been waiting for ages. His chest burned with heat as the echo seed responded to something deeper in the ground. The gate cracked open with a deep rumble. Warm air rushed out, carrying the scent of dust. Oil and memories they stepped through together, into a wide circular chamber with glowing pillars and a pit in the center. Inside the pit was nothing but sand, dry, silent and still, but Eli's mark began to glow like fire. He heard the whisper again, stronger this time. Touch the sand. Echo bearer. He looked at Varani, who gave a slow nod. He knelt down and pressed his palm into the pit. At first nothing, then the ground shook. The sand collapsed into itself. A great shape began to rise beneath them, something ancient and massive. Its body coiled like a mountain beneath the surface. A low rumble echoed through the chamber, growing louder by the second. The air trembled, the pillars cracked, and a deep roar shattered the silence. Eli stumbled back, heart pounding. What is that? He yelled. The first, Varani said, eyes wide. The oldest Shehulud, the one who once swallowed a sun. From the pit rose a giant worm-like creature made of golden stone and living metal. Its body shimmered with runes, and its eyes glowed with the same light as Eli's mark. It did not attack, it simply hovered there, massive and silent, waiting. Eli couldn't move. He felt like something inside the creature knew him. He heard the voice again. But this time it came from everywhere, not just his mind. Why have you awakened me, child of Echo? Eli stepped forward, unsure of his own voice. I didn't mean to, he said. I didn't even know you were real. The creature's body shifted, forming shapes and sounds. The seed chose you. And so must I, Varani whispered. It's testing you. Eli looked into the glowing eyes of the giant worm. What do I need to do? Prove you are not a mistake, the voice replied. Then the room filled with wind and light. The worm opened its mouth, not to bite but to sing. A sound like crashing mountains and soft lullabies filled the air. Eli dropped to his knees, overwhelmed by the power. Visions filled his mind. He saw the birth of planets, the fall of old empires. He saw thousands of echo-bearers before him, many failing, only a few surviving. Each one faced the trial of the Shehulud. Only the worthy could command the worms, then everything stopped. Silence. The worm lowered its head and the glowing eyes dimmed. You are young but not weak, it said. Your heart is loud but not foolish. I will serve you. Until the path ends. Eli stood, shaking. I don't even know what the path is, he said. Varani stepped beside him, her voice full of awe. You just did something no human has ever done. The giant worm turned. Burrowing back into the sand as it sank, a spiral staircase rose from the floor. Leading deeper underground where it had rested, it left behind something small, round and glowing. Eli picked it up. What is this? Varani's eyes widened. That's a control seed, she said. With it, You can summon the Shai-Hulud from anywhere. They are now bound to your will. Eli held it tightly, feeling the power inside. Why me? He whispered. Why would something so old listen to me? Varani looked at him with quiet respect. Because you didn't ask for power. You earned it. As they walked toward the staircase, the walls around them began to shift again. Symbols appeared in golden lines showing a new path. Varani paused. This wasn't here before. Eli looked at the glowing path. Where does it lead? She took a deep breath. To Sandreach, she said. The lost desert world where the council buried the truth. Eli nodded, holding the seed in one hand and his fear in the other. Then let's go uncover it. Behind them, far above. The council watched from their tower of mirrors. The elder's face was stone cold. He awakened the first, he said. Prepare the judges, another elder whispered. If he reaches Sandreach, the old truths will rise too. The war for the echo had truly begun. The path to Sandreach opened like a scar across the underground chamber. It was hot, dry, and full of golden light that came from nowhere. Eli stepped forward, the control seed glowing in his hand. Beside him, Varani walked silently, her eyes scanning the walls for traps or watchers. The staircase they followed didn't feel like stone anymore. It felt alive, like it was breathing, shifting. Adapting to their steps, strange symbols floated in the air, slowly turning as they passed. Eli was still shaking from his encounter with the Shai-Hulud, but something inside him had changed. He didn't feel helpless anymore. He felt connected, like a forgotten string had been tied back to its source. Varani, he asked softly, what will the council do now? She didn't answer right away, then she said, they will try to stop you, or worse, offer peace. Eli frowned. Peace sounds good to me. Varani looked at him sharply. Not their kind of peace, human. The council doesn't give peace. They give control. They reached a new chamber, open, round, and made of smooth black glass. In the center stood a long table made of floating crystal, and sitting at the far end was a familiar face. The council elder from before, waiting calmly, his hands folded. Eli, the elder said with a small smile. I was hoping we could talk without fear. Varani raised her staff. How did you get here? The elder ignored her, speaking only to Eli. You've awakened the first worm. That alone could start a war, but it doesn't have to. Eli stayed still. What do you want? I want to help you, the elder said. We can teach you to control the seed, protect the galaxy, and give you a place among the council. Varani stepped in front of Eli. Don't listen to him, but Eli raised a hand to stop her. I want to hear him out, he said, eyes locked on the elder. The elder nodded. You have power. More than you understand, the worms will follow you. But they are dangerous. One wrong command and they will destroy entire cities. Eli's voice was low. So you want to put a leash on me? The elder's smile didn't fade. No, Eli, I want to guide you. Imagine it, a human on the council shaping the future, commanding the most powerful force in the stars. Eli looked down at his glowing hand, the control seed pulsing softly. The power called to him. Part of him wanted to accept. I could make things better, he said quietly. End wars, stop tyrants, protect the weak. Yes, the elder said, stepping closer. That is the promise of Echo. But Varani's voice cut through the air, cold and sharp. And what about the price? She said. Tell him what the council did to the last bearer. Eli turned toward her, surprised. There was another? Varani nodded slowly, her voice full of pain. Yes, her name was Illura. A warrior from my bloodline, she awakened the seed. Just like you. The elder's smile faded. Varani stepped forward, fire in her eyes. The council feared her power, so they tricked her, trained her, used her, and when she refused to burn a peaceful world, they erased her. Eli's stomach dropped. Erased? Killed, she said, but made to look like an accident. The elder didn't deny it. He simply said, Illura was unstable, the seed consumed her. We had no choice. Eli took a step back, the glowing mark on his chest flickering. You want to control me, not help me. The elder sighed. You can't do this alone. Eli, the galaxy is cruel. You'll be hunted, feared, hated. Eli looked at both of them, his heart heavy. He thought of Earth, of his simple life before all this. He thought of how tired he was, how tempting it would be to just agree. But then he remembered the voice of the first worm. Your heart is loud, but not foolish. He closed his hand around the control seed. I'd rather be hated and free than loved and chained, he said. The elder's face hardened. Then you are a threat. Suddenly the walls shimmered. 5 seekers appeared, their blades drawn. Varani shouted, "Behind me!" Eli stepped forward instead. He held up the seed, and the golden mark blazed like a second sun. The air cracked with energy, and the floor beneath the seekers shattered. From below, a deep roar rose. A smaller Shehulud burst through the ground, its body wrapped in gold, its eyes glowing with fury. The seekers scattered, their weapons useless. The elder vanished in a flash of white light, retreating. Eli stood in the storm, the worm circling around him like a guardian. He looked at Varani, his voice firm. "No more running," she smiled for the first time. Then we moved forward. Together they stepped through the broken chamber. Behind them, the worm vanished into the sand. Ahead, the path to Sandreek opened wider. But above, in the council tower, a new figure stood in the shadows. Tall, armored, and silent, the last judge of the council, awakened for only one reason: to end the bearer. Sandreek was not a planet. It was a graveyard of stars. From orbit, it looked like a cracked desert floating in the dark. The surface was covered in endless dunes and broken statues. Half buried in golden sand, the sun above was cold and pale. Casting no warmth, only light, Eli and Varani stepped out of the transport pod, the wind pushing against them like dry breath. They had arrived at the final place where the truth would be revealed. The mark on Eli's chest burned brighter than ever. Even the ground beneath his boots seemed to react to his presence. "This is where it ends," Varani whispered. "Or begins again." They walked toward a ruined tower made of black stone. It had no doors, just a circular opening at the top, like a mouth waiting to speak. Strange energy circled around it like time itself was bending. "The Temple of the Echo," she said, "built before the first council even existed." Eli stared at the tower, his voice unsure. "Will I find answers inside?" "No," she said softly. "You'll find yourself." The moment he stepped toward it, the air shimmered. A tall shadow appeared between them and the tower. It wore armor made of silver and bone, its eyes red as blood moons. It did not speak, only raised its long blade. "The judge," Varani said, stepping back. "They only wake one when the council is ready to erase history." The judge raised its blade toward Eli. "You carry forbidden power," it said in a deep, ancient voice. "You must be cleansed." Eli's pulse raced. He could feel the echo seed inside him glowing hotter, alive, ready, but he did not run. He opened his hand, showing the control seed. Behind him, the sand began to move. With a great roar, the Shehulud rose, golden, massive, coiled like thunder. It faced the judge, its body blocking the tower entrance. But the judge did not flinch. "I am the end of Echo," it said, and leapt forward with blinding speed. The worm struck, shaking the ground. The judge vanished mid-air, appearing behind Eli, sword aimed at his heart. Varani screamed, "Eli, move!" But Eli didn't dodge. He turned, eyes glowing gold, and raised his hand. The blade stopped in the air, frozen, trapped in invisible light. The judge struggled, snarling, "You don't know how to control it." "I don't need control," Eli said. "I need truth." He reached out and touched the judge's armored chest. In that moment, energy surged from his hand. Not to destroy, but to reveal. The armor cracked. Underneath it was not a machine, not a monster, but a human. Old, pale, forgotten, Varani gasped. "They made you one of them," she whispered. The man inside the armor fell to his knees. Breathing hard, "I was the first bearer," he said. "They lied to me, said I was dangerous. They turned me into this." Eli knelt beside him. "You don't have to fight anymore," the man smiled. "Teared, then I can rest," he whispered, and turned to ash in the wind. The sword dropped to the sand, empty. The worm behind them lowered its head. Silent once more, Varani stepped beside Eli, her voice trembling. "You broke the cycle." Eli looked at the tower, the wind brushing his hair. "I'm not done yet." He walked through the sand, up the glowing steps that formed under his feet. At the top, a golden door opened without sound. Inside, the room was empty, but as he stepped in, the walls lit up with images, stars forming, planets breaking, bearers rising and falling. Then a voice filled the space, warm and endless. "You have passed the test. Eli of Earth, who are you?" he asked. "I am the Echo, not a god, not a machine, just the memory of the first voice." Eli felt himself floating. He saw Earth, his old life, the council towers, Varani waiting outside. The voice spoke again. "You may keep this power, or return it if you keep it. You will shape worlds but be hunted forever. If you return it, the seed will rest, and your life will be your own. Eli's heart beat fast, so much had happened. And all he wanted once was a room to sleep in, but now, the fate of galaxies whispered from his skin. He remembered the Seekers, the Elder, the Judge. He remembered Varani's loyalty, the Worm's bow. The song of the first, he made his choice. I don't want to be their weapon, he said. But I won't run either, I'll keep the echo. But I'll use it my way. The light around him flared. The control seat in his hand melted into his skin. His eyes turned gold, glowing like stars. Then let the new cycle begin, the voice said. Fading, the tower opened. Eli stepped out. Shining like a second sun, Varani smiled. You made your choice. I made our choice, he said, and took her hand. In the sky above, the stars shifted. A new signal pulsed across space, an ancient voice reborn. And far away, in dark corners of forgotten empires, other worms stirred, other seeds began to glow. The bearer had returned, but he wasn't alone. This was not the end. This was a new beginning.